In this section, we're going to talk about unique special functions, slopes, and graphs. So we're going to talk about the characteristics of these type of graphs. There's two of them. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is this horizontal green graph right here. Now, I marked 2 points, -3, -2 on the left, and then 3, -2 on the right. So we're going to use these corner points to find the slope. Notice how I wrote the x values first and the y value second. That's what we always do for the corner point. So now -3, -2, and 3, -2. So if I relabel my points, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to find our slope. So I decide I'm going to do the y2 first. So then -2 on the top is first, and then minus our y1, so a -2. So keep in mind I'm using the minus with a -2, so I put it in parentheses, over. Now my x2, I'm going to put that one first because I did the y2 first, minus then the x1 value, so it's also negative, so I'm going to put -3 in parentheses. So when I simplify that one, keep in mind we gotta simplify because we have minus and negative. So -2 plus 2, and then 3 plus 3. So we have that, and then when we simplify, on the top -2 plus 2 is 0, and then on the bottom 3 plus 3 is 6. So when you have a case where the numerator is 0, we can simplify that. 0 divided by 6 will be simply 0. So m is 0, or also known as 0 slope. Now, to be mindful of this, you can only do this if the numerator is 0. So in this case, m, which is our slope, is 0. But if you were to write the equation for this graph, just like how we did in the previous video, so if I were to write the equation for this graph, notice how the green horizontal line is going through the y-axis. So if it's going through the y-axis, we're going to start off with y, and so let's take a look. Notice these 2 points, the only thing that is in common is the y value, so -2. So if I were to go here, mark our third point, which is 1, -2. Another thing that is in common is the -2, so the y values. So since it's a green horizontal, especially it's a horizontal line, going through the y-axis at -2, I'm just simply going to write y equals -2. So that's all I'm doing. So simply when it's a horizontal line and it goes to the y-axis, we're going to start with y and set it equal to -2. Again, I said it equals -2 because it went through -2. So this is our equation for this special unique function for this graph. Alright, here's our second unique special graph right here. As you can see, it's a vertical green graph line. So I marked 2 points, one right here and the second one right here. So let's write out the corner point. So the corner point for this one is 3, 3. And then here, the second one, 3, -2. Sorry, this is supposed to be a +3, my mistake. So our first point was 3, 3. Second one is 3, -2. Alright, if we're talking about the slope, let's write it out. So 3, 3, and 3, -2. Alright, So let's label our points x1, y1, x2, y2. So once I label, I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to start off with y2, so negative 2 minus my y1, which is a positive 3. And then I'm going to start with x2, so 3 on the bottom, minus my x1, which is also 3. Alright, so on the top is negative 2 minus 3, that's negative 5. And on the bottom, 3 minus 3, that's 0. Alright, now in this part, this case, we have our denominator, our bottom, 0. So in the event you have your bottom number, the denominator equal to 0, there's nothing you can do except simply say it's undefined. So m, or slope, is undefined. So that's all we can do. Now, some cases where when it's undefined, it's also known as no solution. So when it comes to linear equation, we refer to it's a no solution. Basically, sometimes it can mean that it's undefined. Now, when it comes to solving equations, no solution meaning that there's no solution doesn't technically mean it's undefined. Again, only in the terms of solving equations. But in here, undefined is talking about when you have a vertical graph line, when you have your denominator equal to 0. Alright, but we can still write the equation for this one. Even though the slope is undefined, meaning no solution, we can still write the equation for this graph line. So as you examine this graph line, we see that it goes through the x-axis. And say I want to mark another point, our third point. This one, 3, 1. Now what's in common with all three is the x value. So they all have 3 as the x value. And the graph line is going through the x-axis, as you can see here. So since it's going through the x-axis, I'm going to start off with x equal for my equation. And then I'm looking at the number that the graph line is going through, which is 3. And as you can see, each corner point I made, all x values are the same, which is 3. So I'm going to write x equals 3. So that is our equation for our second special graph, unique function right here. So when you see a vertical line, it's going to start off with x equal, and then what number it goes through, that's what it's going to equal to. In this example, it went through 3, so x equals 3.